There is a great pattern by Love Notions called the Melody Dolman, and it's a button-down shirt type of design with a camp collar, cuffs, dolman sleeves, of course, a curved hem, can be tied up at the front or not, just depends how long you make it. I love the pattern, it's been a great basic. I've made it 7 times. I've used all types of woven fabrics from flowy to structured. Hi, my name's Karina. Welcome to this channel that is all about sewing, limitless sewing, dolman sewing today. I have prepared a fun roundup of all my makes, and I've also included some of the sewing footage and some of the changes and ideas I've had with this pattern. It's been a really fun pattern for me so far. I know I'm not done with it, and at the end I'll tell you what my future plan is for this one. I just didn't have time this Friday, and as you can guess, it is the Feature Friday pattern for today, the 13th of May. Only today you'll find it discounted. I think it's like 60 something % off. $5, the regular price is $12.50. You can always use my coupon code Karina10 at checkout to get even more of a discount, 10% off on top of the sale price. So it's a very friendly price for you. The pattern has already been updated. It includes a full size range up to 5X and a hip of 59.5 inches. There is a standard bust and a full bust. Over the 3 years I've been making this pattern, I've started making it with a size large, and then the last one I made last year was just a size extra large, always keeping the standard bust option. Length adjustments just to make it a little longer, or else I'm not able to tie it up in the front. I am taller, so that is expected. I've made different changes to the way that you sew the camp collar. I have tutorials on my channel showing you how to do an easier way that involves creating a back facing. I know a lot of you have tried it and have let me know with your feedback that it's been really good for you and that you've been able to sew it easily. I've also filmed how to do the camp style collar in the traditional way that involves a few snips in under there. Neat result. In summary, I have a lot of resources about this pattern. I'm going to link everything down below, but for now let's hop in to see all the versions. I don't expect all of you to have seen them because I've been sewing the pattern for so long and there are 7 of them, and if you're newer to this channel you probably haven't seen them. So let's hop in to see all the 7 versions. This is the first Melody Dolman that I made, and I used the crepe. I played with the stripes a little bit, and the only different thing I did here was to use a matching linen for the collar and the cuffs, but otherwise the pattern was unchanged. It was a muslin, so it ended up being a little too short for me. I would have preferred it a little longer, and it's something I corrected down the line. This is designed to be worn tied up if you want to, if you unbutton a few of the buttons at the bottom, which in this case it is possible, but it ends up being a little too cropped. Still cute, but I can't wear it like that, so I just wanted to show you. If you are a little bit taller like me, just consider doing some adjustments and adding a little length. It's a really pretty blouse. I do need a bra that's matching my skin color to wear it. It's not completely sheer, and I love that coral tone. It's super pretty. Then I decided to have a bit more fun with my second version and added little extra seams for a bit of stripe play. Here you can see my front pieces. The Melody Dolman has an integrated facing, which means it's only folded at the center front. There's no seam there. And I placed my 2 front pieces in opposing directions for the stripes. You can see there that some go horizontal, some go vertical, which is really fun. You can see my stay stitching done there as always. And I'm just going to flip open this facing so you can see what it looks like inside. This is what I mean that there's no seam down the center. This is the only one where I've only partially interfaced as per the pattern, because I do prefer to interface the whole piece. This is my collar. It's already been sewn and flipped under, but on the side that's going to be visible, I do have a seam there so that when I wear it, the stripes oppose the direction that is going to be where it's falling over my shoulder. You can see it inside. It's been hand basted down. All of my makes I have specific videos about, so you can see much more details there. I'm just showing you little summaries. Here you can see how I've cut my cuff pieces in a single layer to also oppose the direction of the stripes where I'm sewing them on. I did the same with the patch pocket there. Super fun process. I do have a center back seam also. Here you can see it on, just a short clip of me wearing it. I did own it for a very short while. I was only able to wear it out a few times because then my mom took it for herself. She loved it so much I gifted it to her. For this one I did make it a little longer, so it is possible to wear it tied up in the front if I want to. I think it looks super cute, and I have pictures where I've styled it with a skirt and some jeans. I think it's a really fun pattern. When my mom visited me a few years ago, she took it from my wardrobe to wear it out one day. She didn't bring many clothes and she absolutely fell in love with it. She wore it out to the supermarket, she wore it out and about, and then when she was going back home, I felt bad because she loved it so much, so I just gave it to her, knowing I can recreate another one for myself later down the line. So yeah, it's one of her favorites and I love it on her as well. Around the same time that this pattern was released, I found this inspiration photo on Pinterest. I could for sure use the melody to recreate that. It's just a few extra seams, some color blocking, playing with stripes again. You can see me drawing on top just to check out how the shapes would be. There is a diagonal sort of seam on one of the sides which I wanted to recreate, and some godets on the side. Really fun to plan it out. Definitely possible with a shirt like the Melody. I just lengthened the pieces to make it into a shirt dress. And here you can see I've got this yellow paper where I just drafted a godet sort of freehand to add some volume on the sides. I would have the stripes again going in different directions, and my fabric is stripy navy and white. I didn't have enough to cut all the pieces, so I added an extra yoke there. You can see I just made up a seam line there and cut that with navy bubble crepe, same as the main fabric, and I also cut blue cuffs. There you can see the diagonal seam on one of the fronts, which is just for fun. I think it looks really pretty and the result turned out pretty similar to the picture I was showing. So that was a lot of fun to think up and sew up. I really love that style of sewing. There you can see the godet sewn on the sides and where that seam intersects there on a little corner. Extremely fun project. Up to date, one of my most favorite dresses that I've just recreated from a shirt like this. You can see the direction of the stripes is different. Navy blue cuffs, collar and yoke make it look really pretty. I have tacked down those cuffs because bubble crepe is a little floppy, so they don't stay up on their own like other fabrics would. There you can see it in a full length. You can see the godets on the side have horizontal stripes and then opposing the vertical stripes on the front. That diagonal seam is just for show. It doesn't really change the fit anywhere. It's sort of under the bust and then goes down towards the center. And then you can see the intersection of seams that form the godets that I added on the sides. Just at my waist height, I added a few dots at the back just for extra shaping, just because it is a dress and I'll just probably wear it on its own. So nice. Look at that, little wooden buttons. Just love all the details, and I had a blast making this up. When you have a pattern like this, it can be the base for anything you want to do, and I miss this type of sewing. I need to get back to this. I love the asymmetric hem. I know it's not for everyone, but I really enjoyed sewing that up. My fourth one was also a shirt dress, but a little bit more simple in the design. I just lengthened it, but I added a bunch of details here. This was a blog post I made for Love Notions. Lots of details there to see how to create extra things I added on, like the patch pockets on the front, both at the bust area and around the hip area. I used a really lightweight tencel twill in a denim color, super beautiful. I used metal buttons. Love the look with the brown belt. The pockets drape because the fabric is like that, you know, they're not meant to stand up on their own. It is a drapey fabric and I love that. The hem is not too curved, not the original shape as the shirt. It is a little bit curved, otherwise it would be too short on the sides for me, so I did straighten it out a little, and it is hand hemmed. Here's a closer look at the buttons. I do use a lot of buttons, one specially placed at my bust height so I don't have gaping. They're about 2 inches apart. So nice, and I would always wear this with a belt just to give a bit more shaping. Up the top you can see the collar, and my collar has all been top stitched, edge stitched with tan thread, so you can really see it. I really went all out with the top stitching everywhere. On the cuffs I added those little tabs on the sleeve with the metal buttons. I top stitched the shoulder seam. It was just a lot of extra little details to add to this, and it's so nice, just like I imagined it, better than what I could have ever bought in a shop. And you can always make a shirt dress from a shirt pattern. All you need to do is lengthen it. Love the details there. You can see the little flap on the pocket. It's totally functional. It's got buttonholes, it's got the works. I would never put anything in there, but it looks really authentic and it looks really pretty. Up to this point, I had been sewing the camp collar as per usual with the little snips inside, the traditional method. Can seem a little daunting for you if you're a beginner, so I decided to make an easy version where I created a back facing. That means that the shirt will have a facing all the way around the front and the back, and then you don't need to snip into anything and you can just sandwich the collar inside. I do have a full video on the channel showing you how to do this in detail. This is a cotton linen blend shirting material in stripes, and for this one I was planning to recreate the look of the one I gifted my mum. So I do have a lot of seams in here, and I am playing with the direction of the stripes also. Here you can see a little bit. I have interfaced that full integrated facing area. I do prefer to do that than interfacing it partially, because I do want the structure there. At the top part where this integrated facing is where I'm going to add the back facing that I created, and that's going to just give you a full-on facing all the way inside, not just partially. So it's really easy. You can see how to do it there. I've had great feedback from a lot of you who have watched this video and actually done this method, and it's way faster, way easier than doing the camp collar, the traditional style. So if you've never sewn a camp collar, I suggest you watch and try it, and I'm sure you're going to find it really accessible. You'll be making a lot of melody dolmans in no time. Here you can see my collar also has a center seam there with opposing directions, but only on the layer that's going to be visible, interfaced inside. And this is the collar piece that is going to go sandwiched between the main neckline and all those facing pieces. You can see me tucking it in under there. It's so easy to do it that way, because you pin it all in one go and use just one continuous seam that catches the collar inside, and then you don't need to snip into anywhere and do all the fiddly bits that you do with the traditional camp collar, which I also like. I also want to bring you alternative methods that can be approachable for you who are starting to sew, so you can also make these amazing projects. Because there's a facing all around, you can see it here extended. I don't want to leave it loose at the back because that can be annoying. It can move around. I don't just want to tack it at the shoulder seams and at the center back seam I've created. I want to just top stitch it all the way around. So while I keep it flat here on the ironing board, I give it a good hand baste so that it doesn't move, and when I top stitch it just ends up being super nice and flat. And I'm only going to top stitch the back. The front I'm going to leave loose, and that's going to be fine. So here you can see the top stitching, and then everything, all the raw areas inside are hidden away, and it's super nice and neat. It's a very nice result and much easier to do for sure. And I love how the stripes turned out. This is a stiffer fabric. If you notice closely, I don't have any cuffs here. I just hemmed at the end of the dolman sleeve, and that's it. It looks just as nice. At the same time that I sewed my stripy version, I made a black rayon linen blend version using the same back facing hack. I made both of these in one afternoon. They were so fast and easy to make. This is a really nice flowy fabric, and I've got it paired here with one of my Sybil Illusion skirt collection pencil skirts. Here you can see the curved hem. I really like this length after I've adjusted it to my height. It is really possible to undo a few buttons and tie it up at the front. I think it looks really cute. Classic black dolman shirt, why not? I'm sure you need one. I really wanted one, and this is a staple. Here you can see my collar area. It's all very neat, and if you also look closely, I don't have a cuff here. I just hemmed it, and I'm perfectly fine with that. It looks just as nice as the ones that have a cuff. Here are some pictures for you to see of this version. And then the last version I made last year, because I wanted to use the opportunity to film the sewing of the actual camp collar technique with no shortcuts. Sewing the traditional way, you'll see it done in a lot of patterns. I've got my collar pieces there that I'm just going to sew together. Very easy. There's a few marks that show you the center, and some notches that are going to match the shoulder seams and the area that is going to be snipped in later. It's a really detailed video, very up close footage, so you can see exactly how to sew a camp collar the traditional style, not the shortcut way that I've shown before. So there's no extra facing at the back, which means there's a little area that you will have to snip into the seam allowance and tuck it in. It is an area that causes some people a bit of problems when you're sewing, especially if you're newer to sewing. It can be a little bit daunting, but totally doable. If you've never sewn a camp collar the traditional way, go ahead and watch this one. This is the area that I mean that needs to be snipped into there on the collar piece and the seam allowance tucked away. I for sure hand based that down before top stitching it, and it is less bulky there on the neckline for sure, so it does feel nice on, less bulky than having the facing, but also a little bit trickier to sew. Not impossible though, that's why I've got the video for you. If you want to try your first, this one's definitely going to help you. This fabric is amazing. It was a type of border print and it had different types of tones of colors within the same fabric, so I played with the way it came together so that it looks totally different here. You see that I've got different blue tones in the print, and I've left the darker tones towards the hip area and the lighter tones towards the chest area. That was done intentionally. I love how that looks. Where you see the collar and the lapel, I actually added a seam there to that integrated facing, so it's not integrated. I do have a vertical seam there, and that allowed me to place that facing in an area that would contrast the light blue there on the top. Love how it turned out. I do have the cuffs on this one, and this was the last version I made last year. My serger had broken when I made this one, so everything has been French steamed inside and it's a really nice clean look. No serger required. This is the Feature Friday pattern for today, Friday, so don't forget to grab yours for $5. Find all the resources I have about the melody, a playlist with all the videos down below in the description box, as well as my affiliate link. Of course, I'm not done with this pattern. I've had something in my mind for months and months. Basically, what I want to do is create a piece that will be sewn onto the end of the dolman sleeve to make it long sleeves. I want to have a few pleats in there, and I want to do either a lapped bound binding or a tower placket. I can borrow those pattern pieces from other patterns, that's no drama. And creating the sleeve that will go onto the dolman sleeve is super easy. I have already a video on the channel showing you how to do that with a Vivace dolman. I've done it in great detail there. I would do the exact same process. It would be exactly the same. So if you want to check that tutorial, you'll see how I'm going to create the shape here. It's not going to be a rectangle. It can't be a rectangle. It has to have some shape that will follow the shape of this dolman sleeve. So that is something I really want to do. I even have a fabric picked out. It's a cotton silk blend. First time I've ever worked with that fabric. I was able to purchase that online here. 60% cotton, 40% silk. But it seems like there's so much silk in there just by the way it feels. It's not structured, it's really flowy, it's got a slight sheen. I've already pre-treated it and given it a nice little wash, taking a lot of care. So I really wanted to make that for today, but I'll have to leave it for later. You will see it eventually on my channel because I am obsessed with making that melody dolman with the longer sleeves in that cotton silk, so you'll see that soon. As always, all the resources, the playlist with all the melody videos are linked down below, as well as my affiliate link. You can use it if you want to. I make a little commission from there. One way that I make an income by making videos on YouTube, of course, and I'm always very appreciative of your support that way. It's a pretty intense weekend. I will be uploading quite a lot. It just tends to work out that way. I don't know why. But I hope you don't get tired of seeing me around here. Sometimes in my filming studio, sometimes outside. So I will see you again very soon with some knit sewing. 2 next videos are going to be knit sewing, easy things, I promise. But also amazing. Bye. See you soon.